Hi, it's Mary Jo for Off the Trails. We're in Chokoloskee, Florida today with our friend Judy Caseley. This area is rich in history. The Calusas were here long before Europeans ever came to Florida. The Seminoles have been here, and the Smallwood store has been a part of the local history for 100 years. Developers have bought the land next to Smallwood store, and sadly, they're going to develop. Judy would like us to understand some of the history and her reasons for not wanting to see that development. Judy?
It's like the perfect time of year with the rookery and the birds and the bees.
That sounds good.
And I got a toothache in my mouth and swollen. Be careful when I talk about that stuff. That's off the record. Left over here. That's what they pulled the boats up, and I bought some historical pictures. What I could grab real quick, I brought. Was actually a store and a post office. The Seminole Indians, which politically right is Native Americans, used to come and trade on the beach. Right out here. And they trusted Ted Smallwood. Ted Smallwood has a wooden bank up there, which is still up there. It's a chest, and he'd hold their money. And he actually learned the language of the Seminole Native Americans. And the original settler on this island was John Weeks, and he came here in probably around 1870. And he talked Santini into coming, gave him half of the island, so that he'd have company. Somebody down in Key West. And then when Ted Smallwood came down here, he ended up getting one half of the island from Santini, and then the other half his dad bought. So at one time, the Smallwoods owned the whole island. I consider this a monument to the pioneering spirits of the 10,000 Islands, and I'm really saddened that it's blocked off. It's one of the oldest historical structures in the state of Florida. Developers came in here and fenced it all up. The road has been used for over 70 years. This was a post office. It runs the very side of the property, so I feel that it was really unnecessary. We were not warned at all. I live on the adjoining property. Some of the properties have been cut off as far as being able to access their front yards. One person has to go all down a whole maze because their whole driveway is totally, some of the people can go in from the back way. So, anyways, this used to not be on stilts, actually. It was, let me see, get my dates right. I think it was a 1924 hurricane that the water came inside the store, and then they lifted it up on stilts. I actually have some old photographs that I had archived where they have that being done.
That'd be great to have those.
Lincoln helped do that, so it was really cool. And there was actually quite a few books written about this place. Peter Matheson did 4 books, and one of the most popular was Killing Mr. Watson. Recently he did a trilogy of all 3 called Shadow Country. Watson was quite the colorful character. It says, the history says that he was involved with Belle Starr and got involved in a robbery, and that he shot her in the back and took $16,000. That is what some of the history reads, is some different accounts, but that's the account I mostly talk about, because he seemed to have quite a bit when he came down. He went down south and he farmed at Chatham River and did sugar cane, and he'd have ships that went all the way from Key West to Fort Myers. And after a while, it kind of got a little fishy because his help would start disappearing, and people didn't know why his help would disappear. So there was a little skiff going down there one day and saw a couple bodies floating. One of them, her name was Hannah Smith. And kind of find out he got accused of weighing down his help on payday on Fridays, so he didn't have to pay them.
It's one way of avoiding it.
I know.
Wow.
Really. Whether it's true or not, you know, Ted Smallwood, he always seemed to like Mr. Watson, Edgar Watson. So when the incident happened here, one day he came here and he blamed it on his partner Jeff Clark's, and they told him to, you know, he said, I'll kill him and bring the body back. And I guess he showed up at the dock. This was, I think, right after the hurricane, because he had came up and bought some shells from Smallwood, and everything was damp and wet. And there was still some dead chickens and everything around from the hurricane. It was a really bad hurricane. So he showed up at the dock with a hat that had a bullet hole in it, and he said that he killed them. And they said, well, where's the body? And something happened where he went to pull his gun, and it wouldn't fire because the shells were wet from the hurricane, and there was a firing that went off, and it was called the killing of Mr. Watson. Well, it's created a lot of mystery through the years. They tried to blame it on Henry Short. As somebody that's been local for a long time, I think I do have the history, but I don't share the history of who might have really shot him. But Peter Matheson did do the book on killing Mr. Watson, and actually we had a reenactment. The first reenactment was on the 50th anniversary of Everglades National Park. We did it right here on the dock. Actually, our commissioner, Jim Clutter, played Mr. Watson. I played Mamie Smallwood. My friend Deb Ford, who is into a lot of acting, and she's been on the Torch videos and everything. She played Mr. Watson's wife. We both had little babies, you know, pretend babies in our blankets and everything. And actually, it really made a big splash in the newspapers. It made almost the whole front page or a half a page or something. And the 50th anniversary with Al Gore coming in didn't even make, you know, what that did. It got a lot of attention.
You upstaged Al Gore.
But they ended up bringing it to Naples and getting other actresses besides the locals. We were more the local people. I don't have a local accent. I've been here almost 20 years. And I never could get rid of my up north accent, even though I haven't been there for 40 years. I've tried books, how to speak Southern, and it just doesn't work. So, but there's a lot of history here. They used to do boat building. I could take you right over here and show you where they take the train track. All those were removed because somebody came down and took all of the big wheels that were used in the trains, and they actually had, and I'll take you over there and show you, there's one set left that I saved right on time before they were taking that. They were bringing them up to LaBelle for scrap, and getting 13 cents a pound or something. It was very little, I can't remember exact, but it wasn't worth taking the historical stuff out of here, and that was after the developers came in here and got this part of the property over here. So they had boat houses and different tracks. So what they did, let me show you where they came, and somebody that worked for them came and took them all, and I caught them and saved the last one, and I made a deal with them that I'd take them, the person taking them, I'd take her out in the boat, not to take the last set, and then would get them moved. And
Judy said this canoe was donated by the Seminoles.